Three, two, one.
Hello and happy Thursday. Hope you guys all enjoyed a Merry Christmas. We are in week 17 of the NFL season. Popping up here to do a quick preview of the rest of the week and all that's going to be going on. We had two big Christmas Day games yesterday. We have one big game that is today. So let me dive into those Christmas Day games. Netflix hosted a pair of Christmas Day games. They went pretty much as expected. I had some hope that the Steelers might be encouraged and might be able to come up with a big victory. They could not. It was a pretty easy win for the Kansas Chiefs, 29-10. They moved to 15-1 on the season, lock up the number one seed in the AFC. Probably not a lot of reason for them to play starters next week, and they will get the one bye. In the other game, Houston Texans, maybe just too many injuries, too much going on. They fall 29-2. That kind of wraps up a tumultuous 11-day stretch for both of these teams. The Texans, not a great stretch for them. They've already won their division. They are in the playoffs, but they're now sitting at 9-7. Be interesting to see how things go in the final week. The Ravens, meanwhile, went from one game back chasing the Steelers. They beat the Steelers last week. Steelers lost on Christmas Day, and they were able to get the win. They are now sitting in first in the AFC North, which could be a big boost for them. Tonight, the Seattle Seahawks are trying to stay in that race behind the Rams, playing the Chicago Bears. Final Thursday night football game of the season. Should be a lot of fun in that one. But let's look at some of the games of the week. We have a lot of big games going on this week, including three big games on Saturday. The best of those to me is the middle game, where the Denver Broncos at 9-6 will be at the 7-8 Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, they were once 4-8 and seemed well out of it. They have now made a huge run to get back in the race. Can they keep things going? We'll see how that pans out on Sunday. Not as many games on Sunday. The best of the early window games: 12-3 Philadelphia Eagles hosting the 7-8 Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys kind of trying to play spoilers. They have been officially eliminated. Eagles still an outside chance at the number one overall seed, but they need to keep winning. Be on the lookout. Jalen Hurts in the concussion protocol. Will he be able to go? That is certainly something to figure out. Best of the late window games, and probably the best game of the day, is the 11-4 Green Bay Packers at the 13-2 Minnesota Vikings. Both these teams chasing the Lions in the North. The Packers cannot catch them. Packers have 4 losses on the season. All of them have come to teams with 12 or more wins. They lost to the Eagles. They lost 1 to the Vikings. They lost 2 to the Lions. Otherwise, they have been spectacular. These two teams, definitely already in the playoffs. They are both in the wild card position, but the Packers would love to get a big quality win against the Minnesota Vikings and see what that can do for them. Sunday Night Football this week features the Atlanta Falcons against the Washington Commanders. This game flexed in. The Falcons tied for the lead atop the NFC South with 2 games to go, trying to work their way back in. We get to see Michael Penix Jr. in a primetime nationally televised game. The Commanders, meanwhile, have 10 wins, have punched their slot to the playoffs, but they would love to keep winning and hope that the Eagles lose so they have a shot at moving up for the division crown. Monday Night Football sees the Detroit Lions 13-2, best record in the NFC, going against the 6-9 San Francisco 49ers. Probably looked like an incredible game when they set the schedule. I don't know how great of a game that it is going to be at this point, but a lot riding for the Lions, who will be trying to get a win while the 49ers try to play the role of spoiler. That's some games of the week. Let's look at some lineup suggestions. Last week, I did okay with starts. I was 3-1. My only miss being Brenton Strange just didn't get the volume expected. But sits, I was only 1-3. Jalen Warren, Deebo Samuel, Isaiah Likely all cracking into the top at their positions. As always, I do one start, one sit from each of the relevant fantasy positions. Let's start at quarterback. My start this week is Drake May of the New England Patriots. Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix have gotten a lot of headlines. Another rookie has been tearing things up. Since ascending to the starting role in week 6, May is actually QB 12 on the season. Despite a dearth of weapons and a poor record for the Patriots, he's been giving it his all on the field. He is definitely worth a start in your lineup. My sit is another rookie, Michael Penix Jr. I mentioned we get a look at him in prime time. He had a solid week 16. Some called it near flawless, but that was just over 200 yards passing, no touchdowns, and an interception. The Falcons won, but I didn't think he was a great fantasy option last week. And this week, he's in prime time against a good Commanders team. I'm just not rolling the dice. But there is a Falcon I do like. My start at running back is Bijan Robinson. The best help for a rookie starting quarterback is a good running game, and they have a good running game in Atlanta. Bijan Robinson had 2 huge rushing touchdowns in week 16. He currently sits as running back 3 on the season. It is a tough matchup, but he's been carrying this offense. I expect him to continue to do that on Sunday night. My sit, meanwhile, Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's only RB 38 on the season. He's one spot behind teammate Tank Bigsby. That makes them moderately effective on the field for the Jaguars, but it is a bit of a gamble. Not worth the risk for me. In a championship week, he is averaging less than 9 points per game. My start at wide receiver, though, is a Jaguars player that I like, a young player, Brian Thomas Jr. He is a wide receiver who has been perhaps the best rookie wide receiver of 2024. His team doesn't get a lot of publicity, but he's been wide receiver 6 on the season, averaging more than 16 points per game. That makes him fantasy gold. I think that'll be true this week too. My sit, meanwhile, Jerry Jeudy. Jeudy caught fire there for a while. He actually sits as wide receiver 12 cumulatively on the season. It was a beautiful thing there for a while with Jameis Winston. Winston not likely to play. They've moved on to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They've also gotten some other pass catchers healthy. Neither of that has been great for Jeudy in fantasy, so he is a sit for me. My start, going with George Kittle. On a points per game basis, he is actually tight end 1 on the season. He's been playing rock solid for the 49ers, and despite some of the injuries and the rest of the lineup, he has been a guy you can count on. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game for the Lions. Again, their offense has been great. The 49ers will be trying to keep up, and Kittle will be the way they do that. My sit, meanwhile, Tyler Conklin for the Jets. The Jets have not been a great play, and this week they're at the Buffalo Bills. They have a lot of weapons. Aaron Rodgers seems to be locked in on Devontae Adams in the passing game. So to me, that means Conklin is not worth the dice throw at tight end. Well, that does it for my lineup suggestions in the sit start. Let us move on and wrap up with picks against the spread. Last week, I was okay. I finished as 8-8, had me sitting at 131 and 109 entering the week. Yesterday, I split the difference. I did take the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 2.5. I thought they'd pull the upset. They decidedly did not. But I went with the Ravens minus 5.5, and that proved to be a good decision. So I'm 132 and 110 going into the rest of the games. Tonight, I have the Seahawks minus 3.5. They have a lot riding on this. I think they will get it done. Moving to the Saturday games, I took the New England Patriots plus 5.5 over the Chargers. I think the Chargers get the overall win, but I like the Patriots to keep it close. They have been playing really well. The Chargers, they have been up and down a little bit on offense. In the middle game, I took the Denver Broncos plus 3.5 over the Bengals. I think the Broncos get a win on the road and punch their spot to the playoffs. In the nightcap, I have the Los Angeles Rams minus 5.5 over the Arizona Cardinals. They too are trying to punch themselves a playoff spot. Moving on to the Sunday games, I took the Indianapolis Colts minus 7.5 over the New York Giants. I think they want to get a win and finish the season strong. I took the Buffalo Bills minus 9.5 over the New York Jets. I think the Bills get back on track, and I just don't trust the Jets. I actually took the Las Vegas Raiders plus 1.5 on the road against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints looked really bad on Monday Night Football. And I know the Raiders should not be trying to win, but I think they will get the win anyway. I took the Carolina Panthers plus 7.5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers get the outright win, but Carolina has been playing well. I think they keep it close. I took the Jacksonville Jaguars minus 0.5 at home against the Titans. I think they will pull the win out there. I took the Dallas Cowboys plus 9.5 on the road at Philadelphia. I think the Eagles will win overall, but 10 points is too rich for me in a spread. I took the Miami Dolphins minus 6.5 on the road at Cleveland. I do not trust Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I took the Green Bay Packers plus 1.5 on the road at Minnesota. Look, the Vikings could win this game, but I just have a feeling the Packers want to make a statement and will get it done. Sunday Night Football, I took the Commanders minus 4.5 at home against the Falcons. I think they will also make a statement. And I took the Detroit Lions minus 3.5 on the road on Monday Night Football in what should be the last Monday Night Football game of the regular season. So that'll do it for me for this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of week 17, and I look forward to seeing you next week.